Listen, Melindra, I say as I close my notebook and finally look her in the eyes. If you're going to be delving into subjects that we are uncomfortable to talk about, then I also have a few questions for you. I then lower my voice in order to make sure that Darren can no longer hear me. For starters, I say, why did you lie to us when you said that the reason why you weren't helping us fight the orcs earlier was because you wanted to test us? Holy shit. I don't know what you're talking about, Miller says, feigning ignorance. I didn't lie about anything. Oh, I say, so you're saying that after spending more than a week in search of someone who could help you kill the King or Allender, you're going to waste your only chance just like that because we weren't able to hold our own against one of Tara's strongest teams of combatants. I already told you, Miller says, Allender's defenses are no joke. If you think the same elite team of monsters can compare with what is to come, then you're sorely mistaken. Okay, I say. Now let me ask you something else. Why exactly did you need to bend your knees to keep your elbows close to your body when you cast the spell that blew away the orcs who were attacking you? Because as far as I'm aware, the stance in what they teach novice elementalists at the very beginning of the training is in order to help them better control of their powers when they're still getting accustomed to them. Are you still getting accustomed to your powers after 600 years, Melindra? Melindra starts to say, but she hesitates and I interrupt her. Or is it perhaps that Araka was speaking literally when she said that you don't know how to hold back? I say, those crazy Stillwater powers must surely come back with some sort of drawbacks, no? I would expect someone like Aiden, who knows all of the ins and outs of the magic, to find a way around such a problem. But you don't seem like the type. You still haven't learned how to control your Stillwater powers properly, have you? Is too much for you to handle, and you're afraid that you accidentally put too much power behind one of your spell and blow us all away while also killing yourself in the process because of the oath you made. No, you're wrong, Melinda says. The only reason why I used that stance was because I was still tired from casting the tornado earlier. Wanted to be extra safe. Yeah, I'm not buying it, I say. I know how elemental magic works. Being tired should only affect your concentration. There's no need to concentrate on how powerful your spells are once you're mastered the basic. Admit it, there would have been no reason for you to use that stance if you didn't have trouble controlling your powers. Melinda frowns, but she doesn't say anything. What I don't understand is why you would purposely avoid telling us about it, I say. You really care about your image that much? Is it really so important for you to be known as this perfect, all-powerful Stillwater that can do no wrong, that you'd be willing to risk the entire mission? I swear, Melinda says with a menacing look in her eyes. If you plan on telling anyone about this, you'll what? I say. Ask her. Pat me slightly on the back, caress me softly, because that's about the most you can do to me after the vow you've made. I bet you must be regretting your decision to make that oath life binding now. Oath life, oh, because it's like a whole lifetime thing, huh? A little Melinda says, relax, I tell her. Don't have any reason to tell anyone about this. If it's not like you could help us if you wanted to. If you want to appear as even more unlikable than you already are, then who am I to stop you? Oh, Melinda says with a smile of a child who's just found a new toy to play with. So you find me unlikable, do you? Quite unlikable, yes, I say. And you don't enjoy talking to me, Melinda says. No, not really, I say. Well, in that case, I see no other alternative than to keep pestering you until you'll begin to find me likable, Melinda says with a coy smile. That's not how these things work, I say. What are you still talking about? What are you still talking about? Melinda says with a still smiling. Of course, that's how it works. You're half Lasethi. I'm a half Lasethi. We're both half Lasethi. What possible reason could you have to possibly dislike me? Oh, I don't know, I say. Maybe your personality. Hey, Melinda, Darren says as he closes in on us. We're all ready to go. Can you show us the way? Oh, sure, Melinda says. Just follow the river in the direction of for a while, and you'll be fine. We'll catch up to you in a second. Okay, I guess, Darren says, and then he turns to the others. Well, you all heard her. Let's follow the river. Darren and the rest of the group then grab their backpacks, preparing to leave, and as they go past us, I see Kate glancing at us a little suspiciously. So about your parents, Melinda starts to say, but I don't wait for her to finish a sentence. I go to follow the others while I put my note back in my backpack. Hey, I wasn't done talking yet, Melinda says as she hurries to my side. Oh, you weren't? I say in a dry tone. Sorry, I wasn't listening. Well, in that case, I accept your apology, Melinda says, seemingly oblivious to the sarcastic undertone of my previous remark. So anyway, I think that one of your parents might have been part of Lasethi top brass, or at least related to them in some way. I mean, I honestly don't care what the original parents of Barry were. Like, how is that going to help him in this situation? Doesn't really matter, to be honest with you. You really weren't caring about pestering me, were you? Hey, do you want to find more about your parents or not? Melinda says, I couldn't care less about my real parents actually, I say. Okay, fine, Melinda says with a pout as she crosses her arms. You don't want to hear about them, then I'm not going to tell you anything good, I say. We both walk in silence for a few more seconds as we catch up to the others. So about that banshee, Melinda says, are you serious? I ask her, what? Melinda says, I was just curious. Well, don't be curious, I tell her. Don't you have anything better to do than to annoy me? Well, obviously I don't, because if I did, I wouldn't be annoying you, would I? Melinda says. Can you two stop talking and focus for a second here? Darren says. I can sense a group of mages approaching us. I'm not sure they're friendly. Keep your guards up. It takes a while before the mages show themselves, but it appears that they are yet another group of weapon enchanters. So Darren's not gonna like that. They don't really look like thugs, so who knows? Maybe this time we can just say hello and be on our way like civilized people. Not that I'm being optimistic here, but still. Hey, look at that! One of the weapon enchanters say. These bozos have brought whores with them to the tournament. Oh, you're right, says the second mage. They even made sure to bring at least one for each of them. Do you think that the little girl was bought by the dwarf? Oh, that's fucking funny, says the third mage. That sick bastard. Oh, that is fucking funny. Oh, that is very funny. All of a sudden, Melinda grabs my arms with both her hands. She presses herself against me. Darling, are you going to just let them talk about me like that? Melinda says with the pleading eyes, with a mocking smile. Not going to let them walk away after calling me a whore, are you? When I turn my head around, notice that Melinda is currently staring at... Kate is currently staring at Melinda, the shocked expression on her face. Melinda says with an intrigued look in her eyes. As soon as she sees Kate staring at her, she then squeezes my arm even harder while she's still looking at Kate to see her reaction. Once Kate realizes what Melinda is doing, she turns her face away in disgust. Melinda says this time without worry. Don't worry, love. The first mage tells Melinda. Melinda, we're not walking away anywhere. At least not until you guys empty your pockets and your backpack to show us if you have any pine cones with you. Are you serious? Darren says, almost breaking into a laugh while saying that last word. Hardrick says, I guess not every mage in the world can recognize you by your scarred head, Darren. That or they don't care, Aluna says. They are mad enough to join this tournament after all. We don't have time for this, Kate says as she stops hiding her aura and she shoots three ice daggers in the front of the first mage's feet. But just shoot him in the head. Why did you shoot him at the feet? The mage screams like a little girl with a terrified look in his eyes as he finally understands the situation he's in. A banshee, it's a banshee. What are you guys still standing here for? Run for your lives, you idiots. Run as fast as your feet can carry you. He then jumps over the small river, heads into the forest as all of his companions hurry to follow their leader. Are you going to let go of my arm now? I ask Melinda. Of course, Melinda says as she casually releases my arm. There is no need to be so upset. It's only a joke. It was only a joke. That's lovely, I say. Now, how about you take the lead like before and leave me alone? Will you come and walk by my side if I go take the lead? Melinda says, I will do no such thing, I say. Then I'll stay here. Thank you very much, Melinda says. Whoa, Hardrick says with a grin as he looks towards her. Did something happen during the break we took, Barry? Do you have something that you might want to tell us? Shut up, I tell him. Leave them alone, Darren tells Hardrick. I'm sure Melinda will get bored eventually. Then everything will go back to normal. We already know the direction where we need to go in, so we don't need a guide. Follow me. Just like Darren said, after about an hour or two of walking, Melinda finally got bored of pestering me. She went to talk with Flower, who appears to be the only member of the team that she actually gets along with. So far, we spent the rest of the day traveling while getting into any more fights, although we did run into several groups of mages who seemed to be very busy gathering pine cones from trees and stuffing them into their backpacks. I guess that's one way to do it. You know, we don't know which pine cone is it, just pick every one of them up.